Good morning, students. So, as we are studying about the acid, base and salt, so we will continue the same topic today. So, in our last class we had studied about acid, so types of acids and what are the properties of acid, chemical and physical properties. So, today we will study about the base. So, what is base? Base means it is oxides or hydroxides of metal. Simply we can say that it is the oxides of hydroxides of metal. For example, sodium is the metal. Yes. So, if it is added with oxygen, that is base. One of the example. Another one, sodium is the metal. Yes, when we add hydroxides ion, then it is base. So, simply what we can say that it is the oxides of metal or hydroxides of metal which gives hydroxides ion when dissolved in water. In acids, what we get? When it dissolved in water, it provides what? That is hydrogen or hydronium ion, isn't it? Now, base is what? That is, it is oxides or hydroxides of metal. When it is dissolved in water, it provides what? That is, when it dissolved in water, let us take one example, then we will be clear. Sodium oxide is, we say that it is a base. Yes. When it dissolved in water, then what happened? It produced hydroxides ion, that is NaOH. Then when NaOH dissolved, it gives so what happened when sodium oxide, or we can say that base, is dissolved in water, what it produce? It produce hydroxides ion. So, from this we are clear that base are those compound of metals and what? That is the oxides of metal and hydroxides of metal. When dissolved in water, it produce hydroxides ion. So, the another one, now what are the properties and how we can know that which compound is base? So, some of the properties by means analyzing that property, we can easily say that it is base or acids. Now, what are the properties? The first one is that when we test it, then it is bitter in taste. Acid is what? Sour in taste, but it is bitter in taste. So, base are bitter in taste, but some of the acids are not means sour in taste, isn't it? That should also remember by us. So, the another one. So, another one is what? That when the base is been dissolved in water, it is soapy types or means slippery types. Okay, they are slippery in type to touch. So, we feel slippery one. Then we can say that that may be the base. Then the next property from which we can easily determine that it is base or acid, that means when a red litmus paper, it is an indicator for testing on acidic or basic nature of the compound, and when we put inside, then it will turn blue. So, what the another property is that when a red litmus paper is inserted or when we touch with the base, then it will turn into blue. So, this is the another properties of the what? That is the base. Yes, good. Then another property by which if we do not have the litmus paper, we can use methyl orange or phenolphthalein. So, when the methyl orange or phenolphthaleins are used or dropped in a base, or base are dropped in methyl orange or phenolphthalein, then it turns into pink in color. So, it turns into pink in color. So, by which we can say that it is what? It is a base. Then the next one, let us take the next one is the when the base, strong bases are react with our skin. Strong bases when react in our skin, we feel burn. Okay, it burns our skin. So, by that also we can know that it may be the base. Okay. So, the acid is also burn our skin and base is also burn our skin. So, these are the some of the physical properties. So, what are the physical properties of the bases? They are number one, what? Yes, that is one is they are bitter in taste. Another one, what? That is when the bases are somewhat soluble bases, then it is slippery to touch or soapy. Okay, soapy or slippery to touch. Then the another way to determine the means base, that is the by using red litmus paper. When we use red litmus paper, then it turns into blue. Another one we can use that phenolphthalein. So, when it is an indicator, when phenolphthalein is being used to test the base, then it turns into what? Which color? Pink. Yes, good. That is pink in color, but in acids what its color was? It is colorless, isn't it? That should be remembered. It was colorless in acid, whereas when base is been put it out, then it will turn into pink in color. Then another one that is burn the skin. These are the some of the physical properties. Let us take the another one, that the chemical properties of the bases. So, when base react with acids, base react with acid, then what happen? Let us take one of the example, that is the mostly use is we use most of the time. It is easier molecular formula also. So, most of the students feel easy. So, I use this one, sodium hydroxide react with acid is hydrochloric acids. Then what happen? When sodium hydroxide is means react with hydrochloric acid, then what happen? It will trans NaCl plus H2. What happened? This is salt and water. So, from this what we come to know? From this what we come to know? From this we know that when base react with acid, then what happen? It produce salt and water. So, when base react with acids, it changes into salt and water. Then one is the chemical property. Then the another one. So, when it react with carbon dioxide, react with CO2. When it react with carbon dioxide, then what happen? CaOH whole 2 plus calcium carbonate is also a base. Then when it react with, we have written there, you can see from there also, calcium oxides or calcium hydroxide, then CO2, then what it produce? Yes, we have studied in chemical reactions also. What it produce? It produce what? That is calcium carbonate plus water. So, that is what? That is carbonate. So, carbon dioxides and base, calcium hydroxides. So, when base react with carbon dioxide, then what it does? It produces carbonates and water. We can see other also. Now, let us take one on example. Then the another one. So, we can say that when base react with carbon dioxide, it produces carbonate. Okay. Now comes to the next one. So, what happen when it react with metallic salt? So, metallic salt, when it react, then what happen? So, calcium is the metal sulfate, calcium sulfate. Then calcium sulfate when react with metal, what we have base NaOH, then what happen? What will be formed? It forms what? Sodium sulfate Na2SO4 plus what? Calcium hydroxide. So, what it forms? It forms calcium sulfate when react. Calcium sulfate means metallic salt. When react it what? Base. Then what happen? When metallic salt react with base, then what happen? It produce what? Sodium sulfate is a salt, and calcium hydroxide is the what? That is the metallic hydroxide. So, from this what we come to know? From this we come to know that when metallic salt react with base, it produce salt and metallic hydroxide. Salt and metallic hydroxide. So, we have studied the three chemical reactions. The first is one, when base react with acid, it produce salt and water. Yes. When base is react with acid, it produce salt and water. Next one, what we studied, that when it react with carbon dioxides, when base react with carbon dioxide, it produce carbonate. Yes, that is, it produce carbonate. Then the next one, when the means that is the base react with metallic salt, then it produce metallic hydroxides. Now comes to the another one. What happen when it's react with ammonium salt? When it react with ammonium salt, when it react with ammonium salt, then it produce what? That produce NaCl plus water plus NH3. So, what is this? This is ammonia. So, we can say that bases are used to produce ammonia, isn't it? Yes, we can say. So, ammonia can be prepared by using a base, we can say, in the use of bases. So, in this way we can say that the chemical reaction, by analyzing the chemical reactions, we can say that the base react with ammonium salt, then it produce salt, water and ammonia. So, these are the some of the chemical properties of the bases. Now comes to the next one, is the type of base. Okay, type of bases. So, what are the types of bases? The bases are been divided into two types, that is the strong base and weak base. Okay, strong base and weak base. and other one, that is the concentrate bases, and means that is the dilute bases are also said. It is near about tentative similar that category. So, we will study the strong base and the weak base. So, what is strong base, what it means the strong base, and what the means dilute base means, or the we can say that weak base means. The strong base means like in acids also, when it dissolve in water or it has the higher concentrations of hydrogen ion, that they are called as the strong acid, isn't it? When the hydrogen concentrations when dissociate in water, it produce large or the higher concentrations of hydroxide hydrogen ion, then we have said that that was the acid. Now, here what is there? Here is hydroxide ion. So, the pattern is similar. So, what we say that when a base dissolve in water, it dissociate or it produce large amount of hydroxides ion or concentrates hydroxides of ion, then it is called as the strong bases. Okay. So, it produce what? Large or hydroxides ion. Complete dissociations also we can say that. So, to produce hydroxides ion. So, what it produce? It produce less amount of hydroxides ion. So, concentrates also, those who have large amount of hydroxides ion, they are called as concentrate bases, and which have less hydroxides ion, they are called as what? They are called as weak bases. Okay. So, now comes to the next one, which is mostly asked in our example, and it is also written here. You can you can see here bases or alkalis. So, what is alkalis and what is alkalis doing here? So, alkali are those bases which dissolve in water. Simple. Alkalis are those bases that dissolve in water. So, from this sentence what we come to know? From this sentence what we come to know? We come to know that all bases does not dissolve in water, isn't it? So, it means that if alkali means those bases which dissolve in water, that means that all the bases will not dissolve in water. So, among the bases which are capable of dissolving in water, they are called as alkalis. Simple. Like sodium hydroxides. We can take the example of sodium hydroxides, potassium hydroxides. Okay. Sodium hydroxides, we have already given that when sodium metal dissolve in chemical reactions also, I have already tell you that when sodium hydroxides dissolve in water, then it produce, or means they react to produce exothermic reactions take place, isn't it? So, here also, so it means that it dissolve in water. Potassium hydroxides is also dissolved in water, calcium hydroxides is dissolved in water. So, these are what? These are alkali. Okay. Alkalis means those bases which are dissolved in water. So, another example we can say that NH4OH. So, these are the another example, that means that sodium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxides is the another example of the alkalis. Okay. So, alkali means what? Simply they are those bases which dissolve in water. Simple. Now, what are the difference between the bases and the means alkali? Between the base and alkali. So, they are oxides or metallic oxide or hydroxides, isn't it? they are also oxides or hydroxides, but what? They dissolve in water. They are the metallic oxide or hydroxide, but dissolve in water. Okay, dissolve in water. It is not soluble in water, means does not dissolve in water naturally. So another, we can say that all alkali are base. Are base. Okay, bases, but all bases are not alkali. Okay, means all bases are not alkali, means all alkali are base. That means that all the groups of alkalis are falls under the bases, but all bases are not alkali, because alkali means those bases which dissolve in water, but there are some of the bases which are not dissolved in water, so that are not comes under the alkali. Therefore, all bases are not alkali. So these are the difference between the alkali and bases. Now come to the next one, is the use of base and alkali. Use of base and alkali. So what are the use of bases? So it is written here, you can copy it from here also. Sodium hydroxides. So sodium hydroxides, what is used? It is used for the preparations of rubber or soap or paper. Okay, that means it is used for the preparations of paper. Then the next one is the potassium hydroxides. So potassium hydroxides is used in soap industry for making soap. Okay, it may be washing a soap or the bathing. Then the next one is the lime water. So lime water, do you know bleaching powder? Bleaching powder are mostly used, means in different process like purifications of water also. The water means department use the bleaching powder to settle all the wastage over there, and that is been prepared from the using of lime water, and the lime water is the bases. Then the next one, ammonium hydroxides. So ammonium hydroxides is used for the preparations of what? Preparations of chemical fertilizers or plastics, or means dye. Dye means the color of the it may be the color of hair, it may be the color of cloth, that so for dyeing we use ammonium hydroxide. Then the next one is the magnesium hydroxides. So magnesium hydroxide is used for producing antacid. Antacid, do you know? I think you may know that. Antacid means those compound that are used for the cure of gastric. So that is been white color liquid you may be found in the market, for that are been used by the people who are suffering from gastric, and that is prepared from the sodium means magnesium hydroxide bases. Okay. So acidity of the stomachs can be cured by using magnesium hydroxide. Then the next one is the quicklime. So quicklime, we have already studied about quicklime. So that are used for the preparations of cement. Cement industry use quicklime. Quicklime, that means calcium oxides. Calcium oxide is used for the preparations of cement. And another one, that is the purifications of sugar and softening of hard water. So hard water can be made soft by utilizing quicklime. So these are the some of the means properties and use of the base. So tomorrow we will continue with the salt and water. So, thank you for the day and have a good day. Thank you to all of you.